More Pacers here now. Defending their home floor tonight, the Pacers force Game 7. It'll be their 10th Game 7 in franchise history and their first since 2018 against the Cavs. Now, they lost that game. However, it was mostly because LeBron dropped a game-high 45 points and clinched the series. All-time, though, the Pacers are 3-6 in Game 7s, with their last win being in 2014 against the Hawks. One of those 3 wins, the 1995 conference semifinals against the New York Knicks in Madison Square Garden. And this will be the 8th time that a Game 7 is played in MSG, the first since that aforementioned 1995 Knicks-Pacers series finale. Knicks have won 5 of those previous 7 on their home floor. Now 6-0 at home, but bad news for the Pacers here heading back to the Garden. They've lost 5 of 6 road games this postseason, including 3 at MSG. The Knicks have scored over 120 points in all 3 games at home, including a 30-point win in Game 5. And so here's Tom Thibodeau on how the Knicks bounced back on Sunday.
This is sort of the nature, of the playoffs. This is what you play for. You love competition. This is it. Hard-fought, competitive. Oftentimes it comes down to a hustle play, a loose ball, whatever it might be. And so you're going to get tested physically, mentally, emotionally, and you got to be able to get through all of that. And so whatever it is that we're facing, we can overcome. Just keep battling.
Obviously, you always want to close out a series, but we understand that they're a hard-playing team, and we knew there was going to be a battle coming in here. I think I haven't lost at home, but we still have another game, and I know this team. I know how they're going to respond, and we'll be ready to go. Speaking of the home court, is you look back at the end of the season. This is the exact reason why we played the last couple games to get that 2 seed. This is the exact reason we're going home, Game 7. Obviously, we know the Garden's going to be rocking, and we're trying to handle business.
And so Game 7 on Sunday is going to feature not 1, but 2. Lucky us, we got 3:30 Eastern. It's the Pacers and the Knicks at MSG, and then the T-Wolves and the Denver Nuggets at 8 p.m., the nightcap, if you will. So Sunday is a great day to be a hoop head because we got 2 Game 7s on deck. Now let's send it now to our countdown crew who's got more on what's coming up on Sunday. Take it away, Malika.
Before we turn the page to the 2 best words in sports, Stephen A., Michael Wilbon, Bob Myers, it feels like we need to check in over here. I'm not going to focus on the lopsided paint points here for Indiana or the fact that Josh Hart left this game early with an abdominal injury, Stephen A. But how are you feeling looking back at this Game 6?
I'm not happy. The New York Knicks didn't come ready to play. Jalen Brunson was awful in the first half. Josh Hart had his abdominal area, was messing with him for a little while. Then obviously we see the same thing with Isaiah Hartenstein. I would have expected more from them to capitalize off of the 3 days rest and not put themselves on the precipice of elimination. But nevertheless, that's what it is. They need something more. They need something special, and they will get it. It will be me. I will be at Madison Square Garden.
He's gifting himself.
I will be at Madison Square Garden for Game 7.
That is
the
best one.
So don't worry, MSG. You get the gift of Stephen A. in the building for this Game 7.
Patrick Ewing or John Starks or Bernard King.
Don't worry about that. Don't worry about
Larry
that.
Johnson.
You got the one and only
Walt Frazier.
Stephen is on the way. We talked about it, though. You've been to how many Game 7s, Mr. Wilbon? North of 40 Game 7s you have been in the building for. And obviously the Pacers and the New York Knicks, they are no stranger when you look back at history at playing in these Game 7s. What are you expecting to be sort of the difference maker? Because you've seen these up close.
Yeah, and a couple of those series. I mean, you had Reggie Miller and Patrick Ewing. You had Hall of Famers in those series, and they were mesmerizing. There's some of the great memories I have of covering the NBA in 40-plus years.
Look at this.
Look at that. So the Knicks are 5-2 in the Garden in Game 7s. The Bullets, how about that? Wes Unseld, Elvin Hayes, that's another story. Malika, there's nothing like it. And look, I'm a Chicagoan. And I want to sit here and say, my building, the old Chicago Stadium, United Center, are better. Madison Square Garden has been the best place to watch a Game 7.
Yeah.
Yes.
And some of the things that have gone on in those games. And, Stephen, I'm going to tell you this. And, I said tonight I thought the Knicks would win.
Yes, so did I.
Bob makes a point that attrition is not just a matter of something that happens by the fourth quarter of tonight. It goes on over games. So he can expand on that. But let me give him credit for that. That injury to Josh Hart,
I'm worried.
That's something to worry about. Because I know, look, he was out there as a Warrior, got 8 rebounds anyway. Don't know how he did it.
And he asked out of the game, which is not something.
See, Josh Hart didn't ask out of anything. I mean, it's a Cal Ripken sort of quality to him. He is a DMV kid, so he would know that. But him sitting over there like that, I just thought, wow, this is a turn for the Knicks that they can't survive. And so you can't have that last one. They've done without the others, right? But they can't do without Josh Hart getting at home.
You guys
13,
were worried about a
rebounds.
Game 7, right? Is just the level of injuries piling up here.
Yeah, healthy. Cardinal rule, healthy, easy, obviously. Healthy beats unhealthy. I mean, it just does. And the longer a series goes, I feel if the Knicks don't win on Sunday, it'll be because of health. I believe that. The Pacers are healthy. They are losing Mathurin. We haven't talked about that at all. He's a good player. But with the Knicks, it's 4 guys. Could be 5 guys. And I'm with you guys. Without Josh Hart, that is a material loss. You can only have the way they've fought with who they've lost already is as commendable as any NBA team I've ever seen in the playoffs. This Knicks team's resolve that I think starts with Thibodeau, starts with Brunson, trickles down to Hart and DiVincenzo and what Miles McBride is doing and Hartenstein and everybody. I love watching this team play.
Yeah.
I hope Hart can play because I don't want to see if Hart can't play, it'll take some wind out of the sails of this whole Knicks experience in 2024.
Absolutely.
And but we do, as a basketball fan, as a GM, I hated.
Right.
I didn't like Game 7s, especially one particular Game 7.
Was not 2016 Game 7.
But as a basketball fan,
You love him. You love seeing
I mean, what's better?
Josh Hart will play.
He will.
He will play.
Okay.
He will play. Hartenstein will play. And the New York Knicks are going to the Conference Finals. Now, I didn't want it to get to this, okay? I've listened to everybody say everything, okay? I listen to everybody say everything, and I understand. And it's perfectly reasonable. But damn it, this is what it's about. You've been waiting for decades to get back to the Eastern Conference Finals. I understand, Abdominal. I understand how you're feeling right now. Yeah. You didn't put yourself in this position. A lot of injuries, but damn it, you've gotten to this point. It's Game 7. You know this. You've covered about 40 of them. I was at about 20 of them, okay? Here's the bottom line. There is no tomorrow. There is no tomorrow. Get it done. We'll think about Boston and what's going to happen after that. Get it done Sunday at 3:30 Eastern. Be ready. I don't give a damn what you got to do. Figure it out.
Can I get a wardrobe forecast hint before the game? You could just text me.
No, it ain't going to be orange or blue. I mean, I got a couple of options. It's going to be fly. It's going to be fly. It's going to be fly.
By the way, real quickly.
But I'm going to be there.
If the Knicks were healthy,
the series would be over.
I would take them to beat the Boston Celtics, who I can't trust.
Right.
And they're not healthy. I'm not even sure I can take them to beat Indiana. But
I agree.
I hate that this season is taking that
Let's
turn.
hope at least Hart plays.
He will play.
I mean, I'm talking reality stuff.
He will play.
But Bob,
15 rebounds,
throwing
Stephen
stuff
A.
out there.
never fear.
The
Stephen A.
gift
Smith
is there.
is on the way.
Are you going
gift
after Rick
that
going.
or
keeps
Stephen A?
on giving.
Stephen A. in the house at the Garden. I will be there. New York, stand up. Here we go.
Sports Center.
Here we go.
Back to you.
Yeah, I think they had a pretty rough film session yesterday with Rick Carlisle. He showed play after play after play from that Game 5 loss in New York where the Knicks were getting those loose balls, and they really wanted to have a completely different mindset. And boy, did they respond. Even though they are a young team, Rick Carlisle knew how to challenge them. He really called them out, and they really responded. Completely different game on the loose balls. They dominated the boards in this game, much more physical defensively. Really were getting into Jalen Brunson in the first half. He was just 2 of 13 in the first half, which really established the game. And then a key moment, 30 seconds into the second half, the Knicks made a run coming out of the break. Rick Carlisle calls a timeout, and he thought he might have to light into his team, but they did it themselves. They challenged themselves in that timeout. They came out, reestablished control, and cruised to an easy victory, forcing Game 7 on Sunday.
Yeah, the Knicks led after the first quarter, and then it was really all Pacers after that. As for the Knicks, though, Josh Hart left the game in the fourth quarter after battling with what looked like abdominal soreness for most of the game. He was going in, going out, kind of reaching for his side. What is the latest you're hearing on Hart? Because Tibbs told us he didn't even really know what the injury was.
Right. So to a man, all of his teammates said that they believed he would play on Sunday. Whether it was Jalen Brunson, whether it was Deuce McBride, whether it was Isaiah Hartenstein, they just didn't believe he wouldn't play. He did not speak to the media, to be clear, and was nowhere to be found in the locker room. He did tell some of his teammates before he left the locker room that he was feeling better. I don't think the question is going to be whether or not he plays. I think he's going to play. The question is going to be how effective can he be? That abdominal injury was clearly bothering him throughout this game. By the end of the night, he had a spider web-looking apparatus of kinesio tape on his abdominal area. They will certainly give him treatment and try to figure out a way that they can give him some relief. But I would expect him to be definitely hurting, but definitely playing come Sunday afternoon.
It's worth noting Josh Hart has only missed one game this entire season. It was in January against the Wizards. We heard from Jalen Brunson postgame. He said add it to the list in terms of injuries. Speaking of Jalen Brunson, though, you talked about this earlier, Wendy. He's really been the centerpiece, obviously, of this series. Finished the game with 31 points, but he really struggled in the first half, missed the first 11 shots he took. What was the key for the Pacers in terms of slowing him down to start this game?
Yeah, Shay, really the last 4 games have really been about the Aaron Nesmith versus Jalen Brunson matchup. The Pacers trying to use him on Brunson and the Knicks trying to get Nesmith off of Brunson. And in Game 5, they were very successful doing that using screens. But Nesmith was much more prepared in this game, and he just refused to get, unattached from Brunson. He fought over the screens. He fought around them. He just didn't give him any space. You could tell that Brunson didn't have the same momentum coming off of those screens as he had in Game 5. Definitely some film work was done there. Definitely some aggression was turned up. Brunson missed 11 consecutive shots at one point. He has never done that in his career, and that's obviously what gave the Pacers some separation with the Knicks' offensive weapon neutralized early in the game.
Yeah, Brunson only had 5 points at the break, something we're just not accustomed to seeing. Brian Windhorst from Indianapolis, thank you for the latest. We appreciate it. Now, what we have already is the opening lines for Game 7 on Sunday, because that's what we're going to get. A nice Game 7 between the Pacers and the Knicks. This is courtesy of ESPN Bet, of course. Knicks are slim 2.5-point favorites at home. Now they've won all 3 games of this series at the Garden, and right now sit with a 2.5-point cushion heading into Sunday.